All right, thank you for coming in. Me and Anton, we're going to do a 45 minutes website demo. We are going to show some interesting tool that we use in production. I mean, it's not necessary we are recommending you to use it, but it's something that is really inspiring, really interesting to show everyone. So I am Yue from Global Web. You could just go by Joe, and if you find me in the conference, just go, Joe, hey, how are you doing? Let's continue the conversation over there. And Anton.
I don't need a microphone. My name's Anton Morrison. I run a small but mighty agency called Mogul. Our motto is to help people realize their digital potential. And we do that using like the latest tools, latest AI, and a lot of low-code technology, which we're going to demo today.
Can you guys hear us in the back?
We can use the microphone, would be better.
Yeah, I'll speak up. I'll speak up rather than use the microphone. So, what we're going to show today is our way of building and create websites from start to finish. So, if I share my screen now, Joe.
Yeah.
So, the first tool that we're going to show you is a tool called Reloop. So Reloop is it started out as a Webflow UI kit. So it's lots of components, etc. And then they brought out a tool called the Site Builder just last year. You can probably already tell that I'm Scottish. Scotland are playing Germany today, so I'm in Euro mode. So we're going to build a travel website for fans that are going to Germany to watch all the Euros. So that's our concept today. But we're going to start this from scratch, so not prepared anything. So the first thing we do here is like start a new project. This is basically a web interface that we can create a sitemap and then wireframes from that sitemap. So first thing we have to do is just come up with a prompt that is for our website. So creating a site for football fans to visit Euros 2014 to give them tips and inspiration. I'm the worst speller in the world.
Has anyone used Reloop before? Couple of hands.
Inspiration to enjoy.
Enjoy?
Enjoy Germany hospitality. Okay, where would we found? Still change. Germany. So you can choose how many pages you want to create. You can choose the language that you're going to create it in. So we'll just choose English. Let's add another couple of things. The site will list the games, the games, the locations, and things to do. So that's all we need to do. Then we could choose 5 to 10 pages from now, and then we generate the sitemap. So this is all obviously AI generates a sitemap, and it creates the first thing it creates is just a home page. And then you can zoom into this and start to go through the elements. So if we close this, we look at the home page that it's chosen for us. So the first thing it's chosen, navbar. AI is like amazing, isn't it? Like a navbar at the top. And then it's got a hero section. So you're like, okay, and these are, I mean, this is a kind of like a sitemap, but I actually call these more like content priority sitemaps. So when you're kind of creating a wireframe, you know how low fidelity, high fidelity. This is like the lowest fidelity of a wireframe for me. It's just like, okay, what content do we want on the page? What elements do we want? And what's the hierarchy of that? So I really think this is a good tool to just get that, you know, basic layout of a page, basic kind of purpose of a page. So here we've got the hero image, the hero section. Then we've got benefits, key benefits of visiting Euros, experience German hospitality, how it works. Well, I don't think we're going to have much in this site, so we'll kind of take that out. Features, major games, must-visit locations, popular attractions, testimonials. It's going to be a new site, so we've not got any testimonials to start with. Encourage users to sign up for the newsletter. Perfect. And then we've got another one, which is a newsletter, so we can delete that. And then a contact page. But actually, I think we need another section in here potentially that's let's say it's a feature section or a feature list, and it could be must-see games, or let's just edit this here. So feature list section, best teams, or feature games. So you can edit this in the browser as well. So now we've got that, we're like, okay, this is cool. We can go, we can see we've got an about page that they're suggesting. Makes sense. Let's generate that page. And then we've got games. Yep, that makes sense. Locations, we can generate that page. And then we've got a game details under here. Okay, games detail. And then things to do. Yep, let's generate that page. And then an activity detail. So let's generate that page. But I think we also want maybe another page, which is schedule. Game schedule. And then we can generate that page as well. So you can see that right now we're kind of like brainstorming ideas, creating sitemap, and we've got these kind of 6-7 pages. Let's generate that one as well. So once you go through all of this and you're happy with it and you kind of refine what each of these sections are, you can click over to the wireframe section. And magically, Reloom starts to create wireframes based on their library, which has nearly 2,000 components. What you put in, it also has content, AI content as well. So it's actually creating real content for you. So experience the thrill of the Euros, uncover exciting the excitement, uncover the features. So you can see that it's taken what each of those little components were and actually created suggesting actual components for it. So the next part of this process to go, okay, so let's go through here, go, right, discover more, explore more, inspire. So we can go in and edit this and go, let's change this to things to do, because we want users to actually use this as a tourist guide. And then we can go, hey, you know, like this header is nice, but we could actually replace this component, or we could change it to a form, or we could change it to a video. But we could also just replace it as well. So if we click on the component here, you'll see where the component is in the Reloom library. If you click here, you can see all of the headers you have here. Well, we can kind of view through them. Well, let's find a nice one that's got some animation. Yeah, this one looks nice. So header 78. So we go back over here and we go, let's replace this component with header, what was it, 78? Yep, there you go. So we can kind of flip out the components at this stage. So a couple of hours working in this, you would go through each of the components, you would kind of refine them. You can go in here and go, yeah, discovers not that. Create a title. So let's rewrite this and make it longer. Okay.
If you guys have better ideas, you can participate in this.
Yeah. And so you can replace it here. So once you're finished here, you're like, okay, what do we do next? So we hand it over to Joe. He'll show you the integration of this. I'll just name this. Euros 2024 guys.
Thank you so much. I was just going to tell you to rename the file, yeah, so I know where to find it. Okay, so how many Figma designers in here? Yes. Okay, so this is going to be very exciting. I'm going to share this. Second. So,
So the one thing, so we're going to show Webflow after this. Is it how many people are familiar with Webflow?
Perfect. EvolveDrupal.com is a website.
Yeah. But I think one of the biggest things that people think with Webflow is it's replacing Figma. It's not. Figma, you can explore design, you can work much faster, so it's more complementary. And this Reloom tool is really going to show how that connects Webflow and Figma.
Was that Figma that you used?
That was Reloom. That's just a web app. That's just you sign up for it. It's like $30 a month or something. Reloom.
RELUME.
all right.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
All right.
Is Reloom specific to Webflow or can it deal with other?
Interesting question. Top marks. It used to be just Webflow. Then they brought out a Figma library to connect that up. But just last month they brought out a React library. So every component that I was just showing you there also has a coded version in React and Tailwind CSS. So we are starting to think like, build prototypes in Webflow, iterate fast, get it to a stage for like a complex app of that, and then you have a one-to-one relationship with React. So you can kind of take it into the browser. So it's kind of exciting in terms of where they're going with that. Yeah.
Yeah, so I will be taking over from here. First thing we need to do is get a copy of the Reloom library, component library. And so simply just log into here and then I'll have this option. I'll just simply click and we have this page. So by clicking open in Figma, we can have these. You have a copy right here. It's going to take a while to load. It's a big library. As Anton mentioned, there are over 2,000 components. You also have a pretty good design system. It's an MVP kind of product, but it's it's a really solid starting ground for you to start. I'm just going to quickly go through the design system so we know what we're going to do. Here. Okay, so let's import the library first. So we can open Reloom.
So Reloom has a Figma app inside their Figma plugin.
Yep. So once we open the Reloom Figma plugin, just need to refresh so we can see the new project. And is it here?
Do you know what? Wait 1 second. Oh my goodness.
While Anton's working on the project, I like to just give a quick overview of the design system.
Does it update like let's say if you change things in the does it update the Figma? Do they talk to each other or do you have to re-import it every time?
You have to re-import it.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a one-way communication. Anything that was generated by AI in Reloom, we can import them to Figma, but there's no way to come back. But that's just a current state. Who knows what's going to happen in the next few years or few months.
You'll now see that. You'll now see that in the shared projects.
And okay, so let's look at the design system. At the UI, just a few key things I'm going to do in the next 10 minutes. I'm going to find a topography that works for the site. I'm going to define a few color palettes, add a few colors, and just really, start from atom, molecular organism level. I'm just going to style a couple buttons and then a few components as well. And it's a project ready.
Yes.
Okay.
So what Joe was mentioning there was atomic design. How many people are familiar with atomic design? Do you use it in projects? Yeah.
Well, you see the power of it and how it can keep the design consistent and it's You click, you change the fusing, and the website is like have a really good shape to start. All right, I'm going to open the project and select create a new page, wireframe, and I'm just going to add the wireframe to the file. Let it do the scene. Move to and all right, so it's gonna do a few things. It's gonna be like it's going to be like an AI doing something on your laptop, so don't be scared. It's just a really a tool. Okay. All right. So we have all the wireframe pages imported to Figma. This is only when our director can jump in and start putting a mood board and style your component. But we only have like 10 minutes, so let's just to be more realistic. First thing I like to do, just change the font. We have a few options here. There's a plugin that is called Better Font Picker. Yeah, there we go. And right away we have a better visual of how of what kind of font we can choose.
Comic Sans.
Well, I'm just gonna.
What's the one for Avatar?
So what you can do, just select the title, and really, this is only a really long explorational process, but we're just gonna simplify it. So column side, let's go something more friendly, more easier to read. Let's go.
Any recommendations?
Not yet.
Not Comic Sans?
Not Comic Sans, I'm sorry.
Which one?
No,
What's that? Yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's a really good option. So, and what is it right now? Let's look at it. Right now, the body copy is Roboto. Well, Roboto's gonna work, but let's try. Open. Let's open the plugin again. See, Open Sand is really a good option, but it's too low. Well, I'm just gonna run and pick one just because of the timing. Yeah, that's kind of interesting. Yeah. And all right, so now we have look at the. Let's take a look at the style guide. So we have quite a number of fonts that we have to style. Are we going to do that one by one? No. Let's open my favorite plugin. Let's go Batch Styler. So give it a second and we load all the fonts that we use in this design system. So what we need to do right now is select all the heading, change Roboto to and both that will do, and just click update. Successfully updated. Yeah, and select all the text. I can't remember which font I picked. Give me a second here.
Purple.
Yep, Marvel.
That was a test.
Yeah.
Paid attention.
Copy for you later. Okay, let's select all the text and simply change Roboto to big text. All right, so let's take a look at the library. Again. Oh, kind of froze for a second. I'm glad Adobe didn't buy it, otherwise it will crash. All right, so right now, we updated. Just let me double check. Did I choose the wrong? Okay. Anyway, let's just keep going with the font. Nobody would notice, yeah. Okay, so how about color? What can we do with color? We have plugin for color.
There are old people like me that used to design websites in Photoshop, but I see like the power of Figma. You're like, the designers have never had it easier.
Is this old?
Yeah, let's oh yeah.
What color should we pick?
What kind of theme should
Right.
you want? Mhm.
Pink for soccer.
Blue for the Euro.
Scottish blue.
Blue. Yeah.
Yeah, Europe blue travel website. Let's see what color we will get. So this is also AI plugin that's trying to run all the colors.
You like it?
You like it? Does everyone like it?
Oh,
Yeah.
probably not.
Pink.
Yeah.
Make it pink. It's not pink enough.
Magento.
Organized is strong. Yeah, so if you don't like it, let's yeah, we still want to see this. Europe associated with pink, blue plus yellow, did you say?
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Yeah. Okay.
Good enough.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, that's an interesting color. Yeah. So what we can do right now is just click add each color. It's going to create LED here. And for yeah. So for whoever is familiar with variables, we are going to create variable library then out of here. And then later on, with the same design system in the Webflow, we can also apply the same variables. And it's gonna take a while, so anytime anything you want to add on, go ahead.
How many people that are Figma users are using variables now? Yeah, successfully. Yeah. Yeah. It's a great feature. Like actually, Morgan's doing a design system just now, and to see the power of the variables across different websites and brands, it's pretty phenomenal. And it's a nice feature that they've brought in. It's definitely something that is going to make designing multiple sites or big brands and managing brands much easier. Morgan, do you like variables?
Yeah, we've used variables successfully, and but we did do a mistake at first when we started using variables. Is that we got too specific with the naming of the colors, and so in the end, and it was hard to use. So in the end, and Joe, correct me if I'm wrong, but we went back to just using them as primitives.
Yeah.
Just defining, so not being too specific, like associating a color with like a button, for example, or a state. We started in that at first, and then we thought it was too much detail. So we went back to just using them like this as primitives.
Yeah, so primitives color grid is just a style you can apply right away, but the semantic tokens are also a really good way for larger scale projects. You keep everything consistent, or the primary text will have the same color, primary background, they can have some color. But let's not jump too far. Design system is a whole other topic we can talk hours on. So, all right, so I have some color set up. And let's look at the wireframe. Jump to the style guide first. So buttons, before we jump into components, let's just style a couple buttons. We don't like sharp corner buttons anymore. Just select everything. This is all the button components. And I'm just going to add a border radius on them. So if they're around the corner, they're more friendly, more visual, yeah, lighter for the eyes. I don't like sharp corners. And let's look at the color, all the buttons. Right now we have primary button, yeah, primary, this is secondary, this is tertiary. Let's give it some color. So I'm just going to go here, find any of the primary color we just added. And let's go something more saturated. Let's see. Let's go with the pink, Morgan's favorite. And let's remove the border. For the outline version, let's just make the border thicker. And pink is only going to work for the outline, but let's do it. It's a text blue, black, so it's accessible. For the darker version, we have a lighter tone. Let's look at them. Yeah, that will do. And for the button as well, just change the outline. All right, so that's a powerful part of my design system because I changed all the master component Figma. So right now, let's jump back to the wireframe. All the buttons are updated.
Ooh.
And
Nice.
yeah, that's just teaser of the design system. And let's just quickly look at the components. So these are all the bigger component that is generated from Yue Lu. This is, I mean, at this point, you might ask, why don't we just do the styling in Webflow? Because we are designers, we don't want to do coding styling. We want to explore. That's why we can actually jump here and click on the master component button, and it's gonna bring us back to the component library. In here, we have so many options. We don't have to stick with the one component design. I'd say here, I'd like to get a dark mode of this version. So let's look at them. This background image. This one works pretty well. So layout 37, let's remember that. Go back to the component, click on it, and I can simply change the component to layout 37. Go and for the copy, we are working again because there's just a variant of that component. And what time is it? Am I overtime?
Fine.
Okay, a little bit. Okay, yeah. So let's just quickly add a few color. We have all this beautiful color palette. Yeah, blue for here. We still like to have that background image. So right now we can go on splash. Splash, and then use this plugin where we can just quickly get a photo.
How many people use Unsplash? Do you know it's based? Do you know it started in Montreal? The people that created it are based in Montreal.
Yeah, let's get the background image in. Add some transparency on the image. Color. Oh, so many image to insert. I will handle that. I will let Anton handle that later on. And just quickly look at all these components. Well, let's just give it some color so it's not just a black and white wireframe.
I have a vote after this who's got the harder job, your job.
And yeah, just for the sake of time. Oh, one last thing I want to do. Okay, this is a fun one. A website. We need a logo. What do we do? Okay, let's look at what we can do. This is a fun, interesting website that I found. Let's say, what type of logo do we want? Give me some options. Any
Soccer ball.
soccer ball, travel website logo with soccer ball. Sorry, scope. Yeah. Okay. Let's skip that. Even with the typo, that's okay. Yeah. Let's look at this option. Any favor out of your first instance?
I want to do a reiteration.
Yeah.
Make it simpler. Double CER. Here.
Yeah. A few, yeah. I don't we have a few options on the website as well. Let's just quickly pick one so we can get some asset ready for Anton. Not the Caesar. Okay, let's go with this. Ooh, everybody download it. Yeah, a few variants, and I'm just going to put download it. Okay, and let me just share the Figma link to Anton while we are playing around. So
So just to show the workflow as well, while you were doing that, I created another few pages. And if you open the Reloom plugin, you'll see that they're available. So you can see how we can be working together at the same time. I can be creating a page, sending it over to Joe, and he can be designing it. Now, let's...
I will just send you the Figma link on slide.
So now we're going from Reloom. So we've created our sitemap, we've created our wireframes, we've gone in, we've edited the content, we've kind of played around with the components, and we're kind of happy at this stage. So the next thing that we can do is take this to the browser through Webflow. So if I go back to the dashboard, with the Webflow library, the first thing that you have to do is clone the base site from Reloom. So if I clone this here, now I'm in Webflow, and if I create clone this site in Webflow, I create my site, I call it Euros 2024.
It's gonna take a while again.
It's going to take a while, it's going to take a second.
How accessible is the final product?
Let's see.
All right.
Let's see.
Yeah.
So first thing we have here, so this is the Webflow interface.
You have no choice.
As long as I don't have to hold it. So this is Webflow interface. I can delete this page. Oh, delete this page here. For people that are not familiar with Webflow, it's kind of like a coding interface. So you've it's like no code. So it's more or less a designer interface where you have your pages here, you have a style guide, which we're going to start to style, and then you have your different pages. When you're on a page, you have your elements of that page. So you can see it's similar to the way that I describe it. It's like the inspect tool for a browser. You've got all your styles on the right-hand side, and you've got all your elements here, and you can go through them and look at it. But to show the example that we're doing here, so you can also open a Reloom app in Webflow, install on the site, and if you launch it.
Or plugin.
It's a plugin. It's free. It's available for anybody. Log in quickly. Yeah. Right here. So now, very similar to the plugin for Figma, you have the layout here. You have the same projects. So if I go to my mobile projects, and I see here, and then I just click Add Pages. That's the existing page. Replace the existing page, and you'll see here that it's importing what was in Reloom to Webflow. See? Sorry? So this is where it's a kind of parallel path, but we're still working off the same base wireframes. There's a Figma to Webflow plugin that Webflow created. It's not very good. It kind of like creates a Webflow project, but the code is not very good. You have to have everything very strict in Figma to start with. So that's why we use Reloom as the tool that kind of like splits it kind of sits in the middle of Figma and Webflow. So we've imported it successfully. A couple of cool things here. So we have all of our pages. So the home, activity details. So we go to the home page. You'll see that the nav is a global component. So if we edit this here, we can change it once. Things to do, games, edits it everywhere. So you're already getting that component library built out there, and you can turn any of the components into a component. And then similar to, so this is where the automation doesn't happen. There's not an easy way to get the styles from Figma to Webflow, but we do just have to go into the style guide that's provided, and we say, okay, so typography, if we go and we just select all of the typography here, and we say, let's change this from system to Montserrat. So you can see we're changing all of the typography in one place. And then if we go through and we're like, okay, let's go down. You've got the text weights, you've got the styles. So this is quite a sophisticated way of handling Webflow styles, etc. And then you've got your colors. So you can kind of create, you can go in here and you can kind of create a new color. But what Webflow also has is we have variables as well. So you can see here that you've got your variables. So this is where you kind of go into Figma and you start to marry those variables across, and you can just create new styles or colors. So pink.
Yep. There's also variable export plugin in Figma where you can just export all the variables to a JSON file. I'm not sure if Webflow can import them, but definitely someone will work on that and have that plugin available.
So actually, Reloom is kind of creating a new product which they're calling a style guide, and I feel as though it's not released yet, but I feel as though that's going to be that missing part between Figma and Reloom. So if we go here and we can go through all of the colors, go through all of the fonts, etc. But ultimately, we go to the homepage and we kind of look here and we go, okay, so these are all components that are inside Reloom, that are inside Reloom. I think the really cool thing that happens here is, and you probably can't see that there, is they get renamed. So there's semantic names for the component. So it's like, you know, it's very organized in terms of like, it kind of renames the components for you as well. So you can have individual components within the site. So like hugely powerful, like naming things is the hardest thing that we all have to, like, still, when is AI just going to fix all of that for developers and designers? But this actually does that for you. And it's hugely powerful when you're building a large scale site. So you can see here, we've got this website, and now rather than setting up a server or whatever deployment you have to do, you just simply hit, what is that? We just simply hit publish. If we open this page, we have the URL here, which is euros-2024.webflow.io. So if everybody wants to go onto it in their site, on their browser or their phone, and you see that this is, you know, complete, a complete responsive site. I'm using a new browser at the moment, which is called Arc, and I don't know how to use it.
Yeah, and most importantly, the mobile version, we didn't really talk about it, but once we have finished the style guide, the mobile version will be ready by default.
So yeah, you have everything there. So you can see how fast you create a site. The last thing we wanted to demo, because we live in Montreal and it's a multi-lingual country, is how we use a tool called Weglet for translation. So
How many different languages are here in the version? Who speaks German? Okay. What other languages are here that might be like Portuguese? What else? What's that? Mandarin. What else?
Spanish.
Spanish? Ukrainian? What else do we have?
Wait.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Okay, what French? Anybody speak French here? Sorry. The original is English. So French.
Then we had Portuguese, Spanish.
Brazilian Portuguese or Portuguese?
Both.
Both? Oh.
We get both in the version.
How different can it be? Spanish?
German,
German.
Mandarin,
The simplified Chinese.
Yeah, now we do.
Ukrainian, oh yeah, that's right. Italian.
Italian. Kind of Spanish.
I'm not that good at Italian.
How many nations can I offend one day? Anyone else?
Arabic,
Arabic?
Russian.
Russian?
Going on, is it still supported? Persian.
Persian.
Oh, we're going to a Persian restaurant tonight.
Well, what would John did?
Persian.
Yes.
Oh.
How do you spell it? F-A-R. No. Oh, 10 languages. Okay. So,
Oh. Such an international thing.
so the URL is
Before animation to apply to the component as well.
Any questions?
Tried with Reloom. Have you guys tried like taking existing wireframes and seeing what Reloom references?
yes.
Iterations and stuff.
So it's got a new feature where you can actually put in a URL and it recreates the site that you put in, which is kind of cool if you're doing something for an existing project. I'll just check why it's not working.
You able to speak loud enough?
Once it's all delivered to the customer, you're training the person, you're training the match dates. What needs to be built to that to maintain the space?
Sorry, what was it?
Once you deliver
Yeah.
to the customer, you want to maintain it, it's basic maintenance on job. What needs to be delivered to them?
So there's a couple of things you can do with a Webflow project. You can create, so there's two different aspects of developing it and editing it. You can have editing access where you can just edit all the content, but you can't move the component. And then you can have design access. So what we normally do is we just transfer the site to the client, or if we're looking after it, we just give them editing access so they can't actually go in. And you can brand Webflow, so you can add your own logo. No one needs to know it's Webflow as well. So it's pretty good in that terms.
Any other question?
Yeah, and just add on to that, Webflow also have a CMS system, so you can build reference, different content type, and then eventually they don't need to log in as a designer, they can log in as a content editor. You just edit the content on the page. It's all being automatically pulled from the CMS. So it could be very easy to maintain, similar to your Drupal website.
Let's put this here. Save. Publish it.
I have a question about localization, or the translation thing that we're doing.
Yeah.
You got an idea about what engine is used under the hood?
Deep Link, D-Link, which is I think it's like 98%.
What I know is more sophisticated than the Google.
Yeah, far better. And it's I think technology, it's not going to load, but I'll show you another project that we have. So go to another project that we've got now, or this is a hotel group. So we've got Spanish, Japanese, simplified Chinese, and French. So what happens here is basically when you have it in English, anybody that visits a page in the translated language, it automatically translates it, but it saves the translations in here. So takes each section of the site in English and actually translates it one for one. And then what you can do here is you can say, okay, you know, going through it one by one, you can say it's
You can override.
you can, yeah, so you can click on it and you can say, okay, here's a suggested translation. You can kind of see information about it, where it is on the page, where it is on this, the sections, and then you can see the history of it. So if it's been retranslated or updated, see it here. And you can also get more suggestions. So you can kind of use this. We're launching a project at the moment. We've basically got a translator. We just gave them a login for this. They don't have a login for Webflow or anything. And they just go in and they go, okay, look, here's some options. But ultimately, they can just retranslate it by hand. And then it gets overwritten on the site.
Shall I summarize?
Yes.
Our demo? Okay, fantastic. So today we showed how this random library we transferred them to. We gave them prompts and then generate wireframes, sitemaps, then carry over the design system to Figma, and then have the art director, the UI designer, they can work on that creatively. And when it's ready, the developer can carry over the same skeleton, the same design system into Webflow and do the styling there just once. Instead of doing the styling, try and error in Webflow and make mess on the code, do all the creative side on Figma. And once it's ready, we hand it out to Webflow. This is on the way we also introduce different kind of plugin that we are using right now. And we truly believe the tool is going to evolve. And as a designer, as a developer, we just have to keep learning, keep adapting different tools. Who knows what new tools we're going to use in the next year. So yeah, that'll be the end of the demo. If you have design question, come to me later in any Webflow random library, and I will be more than happy to answer yours. Thank you so much.
One more note on that. Joe was the one, because you mentioned developers going to Webflow. Joe's the designer. He did our whole Webflow site, peopleofdrupal.com, within a week. So because last year we decided to have like a website for our event a week before the event. So I think this deserves a round of applause for his dedication. So that being said, it's fairly easy, or like apparently also the videos are really great. So it's a great tool to learn how to use Webflow, even if you're not a developer. It's very user-friendly for designers. Right?
Yes.
And the translation did work in the end.
Of course.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's the translation.
Look at what the difference between Portuguese, Brazilian is, and Portuguese. Oh, that's different.
Okay, thanks everyone. Lunchtime.
Thanks so much.
Upstairs. Enjoy. Okay.
Y'all recorded that, right? Yeah. Yeah.